Yeah, hello everybody. We are here in Nürnberg in the Lutheran University, and we have a guest today. We have Ralph Griffith here. My name is Kaspers. I'm a lecturer here for economics and I work in the social business administration branch. And maybe you introduce yourself?
Sure. Dr. Ralph Griffith. I'm from Lenoir Rhyne University in Charlotte, North Carolina, more specifically Hickory, and I teach social entrepreneurship and commercial entrepreneurship.
Okay, what you want to do today is we want to give you a quick overlook of our cooperation, because we started a cooperation between the two universities last year. It was 2015. We already had some exchange. So what we're going to do is to give you just a small overview about our programs related to entrepreneurship. Then we want to give you some key points, some key elements of what we think is important when we talk about entrepreneurship. Then we want to tell you something about what we think are the benefits of our cooperation. Okay, so we start with the programs here in Nürnberg. We have, on the master's degree, we have two masters. We have the Master for Social Management, and we have the Master of Economics in Social and Health Services. So you have to distinguish between the two masters. There are two different preconditions, two ways to get to these master programs. So if you have studied something like social work or any other thing, let's say sociology or something like this, you should sign up to the master program, Master in Social Management. And in case you have passed some studies in any subject related to business administration or economics, you can move on with your education here in our master programs, which is called Master of Economics in Social and Health Service. And in both master programs, there are modules that are related to entrepreneurship.
So at Lenoir Rhyne University, I oversee our undergraduate and graduate programs in and around entrepreneurship. So at the undergraduate level, we have programs in both entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship respectively. Those programs are different in some features, but in some areas they really overlap. They overlap in terms of creativity, in the organization, developing ideas and really trying to innovate for profits or non-profit entities. And so that's the differentiation between those two. In our MBA level, we have MBAs in commercial and social entrepreneurship. Again, those degrees, there's some overlap in both of them, while our social entrepreneurship piece deals mostly with social enterprises and nonprofits. Our commercial entrepreneurship program deals mostly with commercial entrepreneurship, idea development, as well as intrapreneurship. So people who are currently working as mid-level managers or high-level managers who really want to creatively innovate the organizations and move forward. In addition to these, we have a co-curricular model where we also have our Center for Commercial and Social Entrepreneurship. We call the CCSE. This is an area where we do workshops for our community free of charge. We do something called the Startup Academy every year where we help non-business people with great ideas learn the kind of X's and O's or the basics of starting their own business, and we complement that with a business incubator. In the business incubator, we have about 7 companies at any given time. They're faculty, student, or community businesses where we help give them the resources to start their own companies. We give them funding, we give them expertise, we give them space to work, and we take no equity in any of those businesses. In the last 2 years, we've started 12 companies in the university.
Okay, so now you got an overview of what we're doing here and what we are doing in Hickory. I can tell you this: the programs in Hickory are a bit more or far more developed than we're doing here, but we try to learn from that. So we thought we should give you some key aspects about what entrepreneurship is about and what we think is important about entrepreneurship, and Ralph is going to give his first 3 elements.
Sure, thanks, Sylvie. One hallmark of my educational process and how I try to work with my students, this is my just finishing my 6th year as a full-time faculty member. Really, no matter what class I'm teaching as it relates to entrepreneurship, I'm always thinking more about solving problems in the marketplace as opposed to building wealth. I genuinely believe that if you have a great product that really helps people, whether it's commercial and you're responsible for shareholders, or it's nonprofit and you're responsible to your stakeholders, if it's solving a problem in the marketplace, we'll find money for it later. As long as the business model works. And so as I educate students, and I think more about this, and I'm consulting quite a bit too with small companies and small businesses, I'm telling them to really build a great business model that helps people in one way or another, and money will typically find those organizations. Secondly is really building community around what we do. Entrepreneurship can be a very lonely place because, as I'll talk about in my next point, we do a lot more than just sit around and manage processes. We're really pushing the boundaries, trying to understand what the next generation or iteration of our product or our service needs to be. So sometimes we step on toes, sometimes it's just hard to navigate. And so it can be a very lonely place sometimes. So what we try to do a lot at LR at the university is build community around what we do. We try to pair people up with mentors. We try to make sure that even our own students are mentoring younger students. We have students who intern with our startups on campus. Myself, I play a large role in the academic advising for our students, as well as sit on many of their boards and startup kind of teams as their companies are growing. And we try to pair them with alumni and other faculty members from our community who can really help them get through the tough times of really understanding, should I do this, should I not do this, is this a good idea, is this a bad idea? So entrepreneurship has a lot to do with building community and having people around you who will give you critical feedback so you can build a better business model. So lastly, I think any general business program can help teach you to be a manager, which is very transactional. I wake up, this is my job, and I do this every single day. I'm very good at my job. I dot every I and I cross every T. But we don't always challenge students to be leaders. And you can be a manager and be a leader, but it's not a prerequisite necessarily. Leaders lead from within the pack. Sometimes they have big titles like CEO, but it's very challenging to be a leader. So in the classroom, I work hard to challenge our students to think differently, to be critical of their own ideas, to be critical of other people's ideas, and to really move away from the trunk of the tree and try to move out and really take a risk every once in a while. And we do fail occasionally, but that's where we go back to our community. The community helps lift you up, helps get you recharged for your next idea, and hopefully we've incrementally innovated that idea. We've learned through failure, and we've made it even better each time. So those are the 3 hallmarks of my theory in teaching and around entrepreneurship.
Okay, for sure, I totally agree with these 3 points. But from the German perspective, I like to add 3 different points. The first is that we would like to focus on creating values instead of creating activity. Well, what I mean is that very often I think social services are kind of witnesses for social administration or people who deal with social politics. We can say, okay, we are doing something on this problem. So we identify a problem, and it is only needed that someone is doing something. But we want to focus that these organizations are really creating value and really creating a solution to these problems. So it's not just the activity, but it's creating a value out of what we are doing. The second thing is related to this point, especially in subjects like social work. We are quite used to writing concepts. We are writing concept of how we want to help people, but we don't deal about we do deal with questions how to finance it. So the other thing is to move forward and to write a business plan. So we take a concept and form a business plan out of it, which means that we find out who really has got some benefit from it and what is the return on investment as well for the society. in order to create income for this model. The third thing is the individual element. I think when we have students in our programs, it is a very good opportunity to work on yourself, to develop your personal skills, to become an entrepreneur in person. So it is one thing to write about marketing for a business model, but the other thing is to talk to real people, to go out in the field and talk to people, to advertise what you were thinking about. So this is very, very important for the personal development of our students, and so I think entrepreneurship is quite an important element of the whole master program. Okay, let's come to the next point. As I said already, we started our cooperation last year, so it is still quite young, but we think that we can really make something out of it, because we already started, as you can see, with an exchange of lectures and with lecturers. Well, Ralph has moved in from Hickory. We have been to Hickory as well, and maybe there is a chance not just to exchange the people, but maybe through media we can exchange lectures while you are in America, we are here. This is one idea of the cooperation.
So the next point is really the exchange of students, and so as recent as this last November for Global Entrepreneurship Week, Dr. Kaspers' team came to Hickory to help present and be a big part of 45 different speakers. We had a number of graduate level students come and present in Hickory, and it really made a big impact in what we were doing. So I think moving forward we can increase this and continue to exchange students back and forth. Our students can sharpen their German and English skills, and your students can definitely sharpen their English skills as they're immersed in the culture once they come to Hickory.
All right, another topic I guess will be that we cooperate on research programs. There may be research programs that are run in Germany, others that are run in the US, and maybe it might be interesting to run the same programs, or to find out whether the same programs may work out different in the other country. So I'm just working on a small research topic that might come to different results when we're doing it here in Germany, or we're doing it in the US.
I think there's also a great part here related to just learning from one another, being around one another, and especially with regards to our very similar programs. Two different things, one being the welfare system. So we have very different welfare systems, but at the end of the day, there are two systems developed to help support a community of people who can't always support themselves. And we may have two different angles at it, but at the end of the day, we both have social workers, we both have philanthropy and people dedicating time, volunteerism, and efforts to try to help those who are less fortunate. Different models, and I think we have a lot to learn from one another and how to run those. And so I think that's one basic area we're learning. Another is just in general innovation. While in the United States we try to pride ourselves in terms of innovation, do we get it right? Not all the time, for sure, and I think we have a lot to learn in terms of mitigating risk and how we innovate, how slowly or fastly we innovate, as it disrupts a lot of things. And we talk about disruption a lot in the United States, but is it always healthy? Should we be doing it at a more conscious kind of rate and level? And so I think our programs, our lectures, our students have a great interaction that create great debate for whether our attitudes are similar, our welfare systems are similar, and really what the next steps are. Our whole plan is to educate, learn, to put them together so they can kind of revolutionize the next generation of welfare systems and innovation in our respective countries.
All right. Closely related to that point, there might be a different attitude towards innovation. As we learn in Germany that all products that have changed our life really come from the US. So I think there is really a different attitude, and I think we can learn a lot from it. So this might be a big benefit for us in Germany to learn why this society really creates that much innovation, and why this society is so much competitive that it has in a lot of aspects really the best products in the world. So the last point, well, you mentioned already, is especially important for Germans. We have a lot of lectures in German, and some students have very little opportunity to practice their English. So it is a great opportunity to practice English, and this is the way to do it, talking to people in America. Okay, so this is what we wanted to explain to you. I'm very grateful that you were here, and I'm grateful that you have taken some time to watch this video. So maybe we meet each other in Hickory, or we see some of those who were watching this video in our master programs. Thanks a lot.